Ahoy shipmates, Amy from Cruise Craze Fam. So today I'm doing a video to help out those who are looking to book their first Carnival cruise, or maybe you've booked your first Carnival cruise and you want to know what now, what to expect. So I'm going to give you all the tips and tricks, everything you need to know about your upcoming cruise. All right, you've just booked your first Carnival cruise. Congratulations, you're excited, you're ready to go. What do you do now? What do you expect? So, first things you need to know is obviously you've got your booking, you've got to pay it off 90 days in advance generally. The date is on there, and if you don't pay it off, they will cancel your booking. So, make sure it's paid off up until that date. Another thing that's great to know is that the prices can change. And if you happen to see the same cruise that you booked for a cheaper price a few months later, you can call them up and they will actually reduce it before that final payment to what the new cost is. So if you say booked it for $3,000 and then a few months later you see it's dropped down or there's a promotion on and it's down to 2,600, as long as you haven't made that final payment, you can give them a call and they will actually lower and match that price for you. So make sure you keep an eye on the website even after you have booked your cruise. Now that you've made your booking, also have a look at what the themes are. Now, you don't have to participate. By all means, if you don't want to dress up, you don't have to, and you're not going to look silly. But if you do want to dress up and go all out, go for it. On the 3 and 4 day cruises, you will have an elegant night and you will have the 80s rock and glow party. On the 5 night cruises, you'll have an elegant evening, 80s rock and glow party, and a superhero party. On the 6 and 7 nights, you'll have 2 elegant evenings. You'll have 80s rock and glow deck party, silent white hot night, and superhero. On the 8+ day cruises, you'll have 2 elegant evenings, 80s rock and glow deck party, silent white hot party, superhero island night, and backyard bash. One thing you must do before you board is download the Carnival Hub app. So even the moment you book, it is great to have the Carnival Hub app because it will not only show you how long till your cruise, you can go in there and you can make changes to your booking, and you can see it's got a lot of your information on there. Once you get on board, it will switch over. So you will not have internet unless you purchase internet on the ship. You can use the app for pretty much everything. This is going to have your itinerary for the day. You'll find your menus on here. So with our allergies, when we pre-book for the next day, we can go on there and we can see what the menu is for the next day. You can see your account summary. So as I just mentioned, you can purchase internet if you need to. So you have the social Wi-Fi plan that is an Australian $17 per person per day. Premium Wi-Fi is $25.50 per person per day, or you've got your value Wi-Fi plan, which is $22.95 per person per day. At the last check, the last time I purchased it, I believe it was $25 if I wanted to buy 24-hour access to the internet for one day once you are on the ship. And there is also a texting service that you can do on there. This is an additional cost. It's $8 per person per cruise. We find this is well and truly worth it. It does work quite well, we have found. And even my son, when he's in the kids club, if he wants to get picked up, or even if he wanders off now that he's a little bit older somewhere, we can know exactly where he's at. We can keep in touch with him. Online, you'll also be able to access all the drinks packages. So if you want to pre-book all your drinks packages, then you can. For cruises less than 7 days, you have the bottomless bubbles package starting at $10.95 per child per day, or $14.95 per adult per day. So that is for all you can drink, soft drink, and juice. If you're a wine lover, you have 2 options. You have the premium cruise 5 bottle package, or you have the deluxe cruise 5 bottle package. So you can even buy these ones on the shorter cruises. For cruises 7 days and longer, there is also the Cheers beverage program. So this is your alcoholic drinks included. Now, one thing you must note, if you have one person in a cabin, 18 and older, who gets the drink package, any other adults in that cabin over 18 must get the package as well. You need to decide for you whether it is worth it or not. I won't go into all the terms and conditions. There's a fair bit of that on here. So maybe I'll put that in another video. But you need to decide for you whether you think you'll drink enough to make it worth it. So you need to have a look at the individual costs and work that out accordingly. So coming up closer to the cruise now. So you do need to have travel insurance. I say this to everybody. I don't care if it's a 3-day domestic cruise, you need travel insurance. Put it this way, the only two claims we have made are on 3-day domestic cruises. The first one was when Alira got sick, and we went with Qantas NIB. And to be totally honest, that was a bit of a nightmare, that claims process. It took 3 months to basically get $400 of medical bills back, and it just shouldn't have taken that. And then they kept asking me to resend information I'd already sent them. So that was a bit of a nightmare. So we did some research. We personally now go with Southern Cross Travel Insurance, but we booked a cruise just for my husband and I to do a cruise out of Melbourne, just a 3-day domestic on P&O, and the kids got gastro the night before. So obviously we had to cancel it because chances are we were going to get gastro. Sure enough, we did get gastro, and we didn't want to get gastro on the ship because that's not good for us, and that's definitely not good for everybody else on the ship. So we had to pull the pin on that cruise. We did get 25% back from P&O when we called them and told them the situation. And then we claimed the rest of the cruise costs through insurance and Southern Cross Travel Insurance. They were great. We had it all paid out within 2 weeks. No questions asked. We just sent them the medical certificate. They accepted it. We were paid out within 2 weeks. So I will stick with them from now on, just because we've had great experience and the reviews were really, really great. Remember, the moment you get on the ship, you are no longer in Australia. Medicare does not work. The doctors are international, and you are considered international the moment you're on the ship. That first claim we made, we hadn't even left the dock when Alira came down with a fever. The doctor came while we were still at the dock. So make sure you do get travel insurance. Otherwise, you're going to be willing to cover the costs. And if you get airlifted out, you're talking tens of thousands of dollars. So it is best, whether it's domestic, international, whether it's 3-day or it's 2-week, make sure you do get travel insurance. We get a annual cover now just because we have so many, lots of little cruises, but it's just easier for us to get an annual cover, and then we don't need to worry about it for the rest of the year. Once you've made your booking, one thing you also need to look at is your dining. So you need to select your dining time, whether you want fixed time dining, either early or late, or whether you want your time dining. We generally always, with the kids, we do the early dining. If we're traveling without the kids, we prefer the late dining because then we don't have to rush to get ready and stuff like that. But yeah, with the kids, we always do the early dining. And that way we've got the same waiters throughout, and they get to know us, they get to know our allergies, and we have our seat set for us for the entire cruise. So we always know every night this is where we sit and this is what time we eat. And it just helps with planning everything and knowing where and where to sit. The other thing you need to set on your booking is how you want your bedding arranged. So you can either have a king, which is basically two single beds just put together, and that didn't work, two single beds put together, and then you'll have a king, or you can have two single beds. There is a bunk. So it does depend on what category you book. So have a look at your category, have a look at the bedding arrangements, and then set that to how you want it. All right, so it's getting closer to your cruise now. You're getting really excited. You're about 2 weeks out. It's time to check in. So check-in is always 2 weeks out. So that's when you go through, you answer all the questions they want you to do, and then that's basically got you ready to cruise. So if you are loading a credit card, you will do it then. You will choose your boarding time, basically answer all the questions that they need to know, if you haven't already, whether there's disabilities, any extra needs that need to be taken care of. So check-in, it is best to do it ASAP if you want to get a particular boarding time. So the first to board usually are the Diamond and Platinum. There is a bit of a tier. It's a rewards program. Basically, the Diamond and Platinum, the ones who have done the most days at sea, they do get priority boarding. The other way you can get priority boarding is faster to the fun. So, faster to the fun is an additional cost. What you do get with that is priority boarding. You get priority access to your stateroom. So, what that means is that when you get on board, you can go and you can take your bags, you can leave your bags at your cabin and then leave and then come back when the cabins are ready. Cabins generally on the ship aren't ready till 1:30, so you do kind of have to hang around, and if you've got a lot of bags it can get a little bit annoying. You also get express luggage, so you're more likely to have your luggage there early so that you can unpack and settle into your trip. Guest services, so you will have a dedicated line at guest services for priority. It just moves a little bit faster generally because there's less people. You also get priority main dining reservations to both the MDR and the upcharge restaurants as well. You get priority water shuttle. So when you get to a tender port and you have to tender into the port, what it is when they can't pull into the dock, they'll basically anchor out at sea and then they'll get little boats to take you in to their port. But then you also get priority debarkation. That doesn't really phase us personally because I like to take my time and get off kind of when most people have already left off. We're not those ones rushing to get off. As long as we get to the airport in time to fly back home. Okay, another question that people ask all the time is, does money work on a cruise ship? So it doesn't. Basically, you need money. You need to load it onto one of these cards. So what this is your card that will get you into your cabin, and you will use this basically as your credit card for the entire cruise. So you can load money onto this either with your credit card. Just know, which everyone always complains afterwards, they don't read the terms and conditions. Just like a hotel, they will put a hold on some money on your credit card, and it can take up to a couple of weeks for them to release it. Some people do get really frustrated with that. So just know, if you're putting a credit card, there will be a hold. And for that reason, we prefer to use cash. So we always take cash. When you get on the ship on embarkation day, they usually have a table set up and dedicated for those wanting to load cash. So don't go to guest services. The line's going to be stupid long enough as it is for no reason. So ask one of the crew members and they will point you in the right direction. Generally on Carnival Splendor, we find that it's just in off the atrium in the Black Pearl restaurant. You go in there, they've got a table set up, you load your cash and they will put it on your account. On the Luminosa, it was set up in the atrium. So ask someone or have a look around. They will point you in the right direction. Take your cash, load your cash on the first day, then you don't need to worry about it for the rest of the cruise. If you do overspend what you've already loaded onto your card, you can still load throughout the cruise. You can do that either at guest services, or they do have kiosks, kind of like ATMs, where you can load the money as well. If you don't spend all that money, don't worry about it. Last day, go see guest services and you can get your money back. It's not a problem. On embarkation day, you will need to have some documents ready. You do need to take your boarding passes with you. It is ideal if you have them printed up. It makes it a lot easier for them working at the terminal. It makes things a lot faster. You will also need to have your luggage tags printed out. I actually don't have any with me. So after you've done your check-in, you will have your boarding pass, you will have your luggage tags, and you'll have any information that you need ready to be printed. So you print that off and make sure you take that with you on embarkation day. Make sure you have these documents handy. Make sure you have them. I usually keep a folder with all of the information that I need. I have my travel insurance in there. I have my boarding passes. I keep the luggage tags handy so that even if I can't staple them, they can staple them there at the terminal for me onto my luggage. So when you get there, there are people who will take your luggage with that luggage tag. They'll even write up a new one for you if you need it, and they will take your bags, and then you proceed through security and you will do your check-in. So you go through security depending on whether you have to go through customs or not, whether you're international or domestic. So if you're domestic, you don't need to go through customs, obviously. If you are going international, you will need to go through customs and present your passports. Once you are checked in with the cruise line, you've got your luggage checked in, everything, you proceed through to the cruise ship. After you've checked in, keep your boarding pass with you because you will need that once you get on the ship. That's how they check you into the ship. And you can also use that to buy drinks before you get your card because you don't get your card until you get to your cabin. So you are allowed to take one 750 ml bottle of wine or champagne with you onto the ship, one per adult, and you can take 12 soft drink cans per person. So, say for us, for a family of four, we can take 48 on there with us. And then we don't have to buy that on the drinks. That just cuts down the cost. We don't drink enough to make the bubbles package worth it, but we like to have the odd soft drink here or there. So it's good for us to take that on. We take 2 bottles of champagne. When you board, make sure that is in your carry on, not your check in, because if it's in your check in luggage, they will pick it up, they will confiscate it. So make sure that goes through security with you. Please note that you can't take any bottles of any sort. You can't take any water bottles or anything with you. You can take refillable ones like this one. This is one I generally take everywhere with me. It does need to be empty when you take it on, though. They just want to obviously make sure people are only they're not bringing stuff on that they shouldn't be bringing. So now you're on the ship. Embarkation day is overwhelming for first time cruisers. I can tell you that. You don't know where you're going, you don't know your way around the ship. What's going to happen the moment you get on? First of all, you're going to walk into the beautiful atrium and just be wowed by what you see. But you will have crew there. You'll have a photo opportunity, but you'll have crew who will send you through to your muster. So the muster is basically, in the case of an emergency, you need to know where your lifeboat is and where you must gather to board your lifeboat if we had to abandon ship or if there was just an emergency. So the moment you get on, Carnival will send you straight through. They will direct you to where your muster station is. You go there, they'll show you how to put on a life jacket. The children will get wristbands. So the children have wristbands which they must be worn. This tells the crew where their muster station is. So if there was an emergency, all the kids that are in the kids club or they find a random kid walking around, they know where they can take them and they'll meet their family there. So this only takes about 5 minutes. It's really quick and easy. It's really simple. And then you get on with your holiday. Then you can go up on deck. So the buffet will be open. On Carnival Splendor, you've got Guy's Burger Joint. On Luminosa, you've still got the burgers and you've got the burritos and pizza and all of that at the buffet. So you'll be able to sit down and have something to eat and relax and settle in. You'll have plenty of opportunities to buy drinks, and you can even have a swim in the pool. Our kids like to have a little bit of a play. So if you want to have a swim, make sure you pack your bathers in your carry-on because you won't have your checked in luggage yet. So make sure that comes with you in your carry-on, and then the kids or you can have a lay by the pool and just relax and wait for your cabin to be ready. So 1:30 comes around, your cabin's ready, they make an announcement. So you head through to your cabin. When you get to your cabin, you'll find an envelope, which is where your key will be. So that will let you into the cabin, and then that's it. That's pretty much you're set then. The only thing you need to wait for is your luggage. Sometimes it comes quickly, other times you've got to wait a little while. I like to, as soon as I get to the cabin, unpack so then I can just relax for the rest of the trip after that. And then you've got your sail away in the afternoon. So the sail away is the big deck party, which is celebrating that you're leaving. This is my favorite part of a cruise for many reasons. So firstly, I like to dance. So I just get up, dance, have a lot of fun. Also, it's just knowing that you've got the rest of your holiday ahead of you and you've done the hard stuff, you've got on board, you're having a drink now, it's time to just have fun. And that's exactly what the Carnival Sail Away parties are. They are so much fun. The first people you'll get to see at the sail away is your cruise director. So the cruise director is the one who basically runs all of the entertainment on the ship. They're the ones you'll see who will get up and run a lot of the major events, and they will set the tone for pretty much everything. And then they've got the fun squad there by their side, kind of helping them out and running all the smaller activities. Your cabins will be serviced once a day by your cabin steward. So you will have one main cabin steward, and then there will be someone else who helps him out as well. In Australia, tips are included. So gratuities are included. So by no means do you have to tip. I always do tip just because I have worked on cruise ships and I know how hard they work and I want to thank them. Of course, the cabins do have your towels with you, but you also don't need to bring beach towels either. There are beach towels in your cabin. There are also beach towels out on deck that you can hire. So you don't need to pay for the hire, but they will sign it off to your name. So if that towel is not returned, they will charge you for that towel. So make sure any towel you use, either from your cabin or from the Lido deck, must be returned. In the pools and spas, the kids must also be potty trained. So make sure they are fully toilet trained before they can use any of the water areas at all. Any children, even in a swim nappy, will get turned away. There is generally pool lifeguards there. They will obviously be watching out, but make sure you do supervise your own children. And there is also flotation vests or life vests that the kids can use to swim in as well, to help them, especially because the pools are quite deep. I can barely touch the ground at some stages. So make sure if you've got young kids who are not that strong at swimming, or even if, just for safety, just pop one of those on. They're free for you to use. They're right out on the deck. You just grab one, pop one on your child according to the size, and then pop it back when you're done. You do have plenty of free breakfast food options available for breakfast. So you've got your buffet with all your standard breakfast stuff. So you've got your eggs, you have omelets, you have hash browns, bacon. Bacon's generally every second day now since COVID. They have cut back, but you will find ham on the other day. And you'll have your cereals, toast, juices, everything there at the buffet. You can also go to the main dining room for a sea day brunch. We prefer to do this. We just find it more relaxed having children with us, where we can order what we want and they bring it to us. And we find generally it just, I don't know, it tastes better, the standard's better. But on port days, we will generally go to the buffet just for speed, just because we got a little less time. You can also get room service for a continental breakfast for free. They do have 24-hour room service, but other than the continental breakfast, there is an upcharge on that. You also have Guy's Burger Joint. So Guy's Burger Joint is open all day. So you can get a burger and chips any time of the day pretty much. Now, Carnival Luminosa doesn't have this, and I don't know what's going to be happening with the Carnival Encounter and Adventure. So most of this obviously is relevant to the Splendor, and most of it to the Luminosa, but there are a few little variables there. You will also have free pizza on generally any carnival ship, whether again the Carnival Encounter and Adventure will have free pizza, because currently they do charge with P&O. That's yet to be seen, but a carnival staple is free pizza, and it runs from like 9 a.m. to like 4 a.m. So you can get pizza pretty much anytime. So for the upcharge, you do have Fahrenheit 555 restaurant, which is the steakhouse. It is $72 per adult, and it is a much more upscaled experience. We're hoping to do it on our next cruise, so hopefully I can bring it to you. We did it once on our first cruise, but that was like 6 years ago. So I'm sure it's changed a little bit from then, but it's a more sophisticated experience. Other upcharge options, you do have sushi, you have the Java and Juice Cafe, where you can buy additional sweets, you can buy fresh squeezed juice, and you can also buy barista made coffees. They also have a variety of drinks and like monsters, like energy drinks and stuff like that available there too. There is cherry on the top, which is like a lolly shop. So the kids love it there. And then, of course, you've got your room service, which, other than the continental breakfast, there is an additional cost for that. So, of course, for lunch, you've got the buffet. You have your burgers and pizza. On sea days, you can go to the MDR. And then for dinner, you still have your buffet that will still be open for dinner. So if you don't want to go to the main dining room, say on Elegant Night, if you don't want to get dressed up and go to the main dining room, you don't have to. You can go to Lido Deck, you can get some pizza, you can get a burger, you can get room service if you want. But the MDR is the main dining room, and that's where you'll have a full 3-course meal. You can order as much as you want, pretty much. You can have 2 entrees, you can have 2 mains, you can have 2 desserts if you want. The other thing we love about the MDR is that you have all the dancing waiters, which is just so much fun, especially for the kids. So, what you can expect as far as entertainment, there is a large range of entertainment. It is endless on Carnival. From that moment you get on the ship all the way through, you will be entertained. There is so much to do. I have heard people tell me they were bored, and I'm like, how? What are you doing or what are you not doing? You'll find there is different musicians throughout the ship in different areas at different times. There are plenty of games and activities run by the fun squad. So you've got things from beanbag tossing, you have bingo, lots of trivias, there's dance classes. There's so much for you to do. You should never be bored. And then of course you've got your more relaxing stuff that you can do, like chill by the pool. And if the main Lido deck is too much for you, there is the Serenity area. So the Serenity is a adults only area, must be 18 or older in Australia. It's 21 or older in the States. But there's also comedy shows. You'll find them throughout as well. There are usually earlier ones that are family friendly, and then there are later ones that are adults only. You have live shows and performances. So they not only have the playlist cast who are their main performers on there, but they will also bring on other performers. So you'll see different things like musicians, hypnotists. There's all sorts of different entertainers that they bring on. You have on Splendor your Red Frog Pub. This is another staple of Carnival that Luminosa hasn't got yet. It is a lot of fun. They always have a live band. So they had something kind of similar at the Ocean Plaza on Luminosa, but it just wasn't the same. But they also do things like beer pong in there and play different activities in there. There is, of course, a nightclub as well. Nightclub, there's always so much fun to be had. It is a lot more relaxed than nightclubs on the cruise ship. So I really enjoy it because I just find everyone's a bit more of themselves there. There is, of course, deck parties, which are your theme parties. They are always a lot of fun. Sometimes they'll get the band involved, sometimes they'll just have the DJ there, and they will have the cruise director there running activities. There is also plenty of family friendly activities running throughout the ship. There is a Dr. Seuss Palooza, that's a parade that goes throughout the ship. So on Splendor, that'll start in the El Morocco Lounge. On Luminosa, that starts at the atrium. They get the kids all revved up, warmed up, give them some percussions and some noisy stuff and some signs, and then they parade throughout the ship. And then they go to the Dr. Seuss story time, which is a lot of fun. So I do recommend, if you do have kids, even if you don't have kids, go check it out. It's a lot of fun. They also do Build a Bear. They've got a partnership with Build a Bear. So obviously there is an additional cost. My tip on that, to make sure the moment you get on, you book that through the app. There is, of course, a kids club too, which is called Camp Ocean. Camp Ocean is for kids from 2 to 11. So basically, you've got the Penguin Colony, which is for kids 2 to 5. You've got the Stingrays, which is 6 to 8 years. And then you've got the Sharks, which is 9 to 11 years. You then have Circle C for kids 12 to 14 and Club O2 for children 15 to 17. All of the different groups, they will do a bit of an icebreaker on the first day, which is a great way for the kids to go in there, get feeling a bit more comfortable, make some friends that they can hang out with for the rest of the cruise. On the last day or even the last sea day is when we will tip the crew that we want to tip. Again, like I said, there's no pressure to, you don't have to, we choose to. So we generally do tip the waiter, the assistant waiter, and then they've usually got a third person who helps them out. So the head waiter will usually get a little bit more. Sometimes we split it evenly. It just depends on how our funds are going towards the end of the cruise as well. Then we'll generally also tip the cabin steward and their assistant as well. So sadly, it's now coming towards the end of your cruise. So they will leave you instructions in your cabin. So don't worry too much about remembering this. They will leave you in your cabin some information on what to do. There is an information session on the last sea day that you can go to about how the disembarkation process works. So if you're not sure, if it's your first cruise, even if you're experienced cruises, it's always great to go to. And they do give you all the instructions on what you need to do around disembarkation. So generally, you need to have your stuff all packed up and kids. So generally, if you need them to take your bags off, which I do highly recommend, just because it does get pretty chaotic on disembarkation day, You will need to find some luggage tags. They will tell you where to find those luggage tags on the last sea day. So you will go and get those luggage tags. You will fill them out and you'll pop them on your bags. Your bags must be placed out. I can't remember the time. I think it's about 8 or 11, but it will say on that information sheet. So between 8 and 11, roughly, the night before, you will need to leave out your bags, and then the crew will come around. They will take your bags. So then you don't need to carry them off your ship, off the ship. You just take any carry on that you may have, which of course you will have some because you've still slept tonight and got ready that day. So you take your carry on off with you and all of your large bags. And especially when you've got a family of four like us, we usually do have four large suitcases with us, especially for longer cruises anyway. Then all those suitcases will be out waiting on us, and then they'll tell us where to go pick up our suitcases, and then you just keep going, and that's it. Generally, you do need to be out by 8 a.m. the next morning so that the cabin stewards do have time, because remember, there are other people getting on the ship by 10 o'clock that same day. So they don't have much time to make up your cabin. So I do feel like I've covered a lot of the information, but for your first cruise, just go in there with an open mind and have fun. Your first cruise is going to be your best cruise, let me tell you, because those memories will live on with you forever. So just go, everything is new and fresh. Try not to know everything, to be totally honest. Just go in there, have an open mind, pack your patience. Sometimes you do need it, and that's the same with anything. So go in, have an open mind, and just enjoy the experience. This is your first cruise. Chances are you will be addicted after this. So just enjoy every moment of it. If you do have any other questions, you can always refer back to the Carnival website. There is a lot of information in there. You can call customer service or even just feel free to pop something in the comments. I'll be happy to answer if I can. Please remember, I don't know everything. I am just a cruiser. I've done 6 Carnival cruises so far. They are my favorite cruise lines. It's probably the one I'm most knowledgeable about, but I don't know everything. There are certain things like the casino that I just don't really do. So if you've got a casino question, I probably can't answer it for you. But anything else, like cruising with kids, whatever, I'm happy to help. So reach out. Thank you for taking the time to watch. Please make sure you do subscribe. It really does help the channel out.